Welcome back to another episode of our Eagle Perspective podcast. I'm Mike Siciliano. I am joined today by our extraordinary elementary school music teacher, Anadara Arnold. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh.
This.
It is totally our pleasure. I have to tell you that you are my mom's favorite SFC employee.
Wow, that's a great compliment.
Present company
your mom.
Included.
Thank you.
So she comes to watch all the music performances that, you know, my elementary school girls are in. Yes. And every time she's like, that music teacher, the kids really get music. Like they're really learning things. Wow. So she is very impressed having seen, 30 years worth of music performances here at Santa Fe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment that they're learning music too. That's
Well, I think it's something
passion.
that is maybe, people think about elementary school and it's like they remember the kids kind of up in the risers singing at the Christmas performance, and yours are very different, in terms of the variety. And so we can get to that in a bit. Why don't we start with, tell us a little about your background and how long you've been at Santa Fe and how you found us.
Okay. Well, my background, let's start from the very beginning. I grew up in Carlsbad. And I had a great upbringing here in all ways, but especially in the arts. I mean, that's what fostered my love for music and theater and anything in the performing arts. I just drank it up from every amazing mentor that I was blessed to have here. And so that sent me on to Syracuse University to study music.
Yeah.
And
very cold.
Very cold.
Yeah.
I did not visit Syracuse
before.
No.
Oh, you did a blind acceptance.
I grew up in Carlsbad. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not know. I saw on the pamphlet a bunch of kids around a snowman.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Total, like Big Bear, college in Big Bear. It's great. No.
Yeah. Now, for people who don't know, Syracuse is actually a very prestigious theater and music school. It's very good. So I'm assuming that was part of the draw for you.
It was, yes. And also the writing, because originally I was drawn to the journalism department too, because I love to write. So I guess that developed later, my love for songwriting.
Yeah.
I didn't ever see that coming. But I went there and majored in music. So that was a really nice season, again, with amazing mentors and friends.
By season, you mean winter.
The whole entire time I was there was,
Yeah.
It started snowing in October.
Okay.
I mean, sidebar, but it didn't stop until June. And I'm not kidding. It's the number one most snowfall.
In America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother actually went there too.
Oh, really?
He was in the theater school.
No way.
And what I remember is just they almost never shut the airport down.
Nothing shuts down.
It would be like we'd have to go through Chicago and Chicago would shut down, but Syracuse would stay open.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
And the school too.
Yeah.
There's no snow days. You just walk up to your knees in snow. Right.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Good place for grit.
So, good place for what?
For grit.
Good place for grit.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did build some grit, and now I'm done with that.
Yeah.
So, just kidding.
That's good. That's good.
So, but I'll tell you what I did do. I started playing guitar because I wasn't going to go outside because it was like -5 degrees, and I didn't understand. Okay, one more story.
Yeah, great. Love it.
I could see, I forget the name of the tower now, but it would have the temperature from my dorm room freshman year. And I looked out one morning and it said 1. And I was like, it's broken. I can't believe that the thermostat, it was just literally 1 degree.
Yeah.
So that made me want to stay inside. And so I started learning guitar. I brought a guitar with me. My college roommate, who became my very best friend, also played guitar, so she taught me some chords. And I just started writing songs in my free time.
Yeah.
And that was sort of during the days of Friends and Phoebe and coffee houses and Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
So I started doing open mic nights in coffee houses. During music school, my friends would join, have an upright bass and a djembe player. And
that's awesome.
It was so fun. Yeah. And then we'd go into the city of Syracuse and play in their coffee houses. And so it just developed a love of so many things in music, not just opera, theater, writing, it was a really great time.
Yeah. And then from there, what happened between then and Santa Fe?
So once I graduated, I sort of thought that Syracuse was a lot closer to New York City than it was. Because on a map, San Diego and LA, they have similar feels.
Yeah.
So I looked at the map, Syracuse, New York City.
It's like 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, you know, just go up there, down there on the weekends.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought, now I'm going to go to New York City.
Okay.
And my roommate from freshman year and I moved to New York City. And that is, I wanted to study, I wanted to try to go on Broadway. I wanted to try to get into theater or any kind of tour or just anything theater, because that's why I went to Syracuse, was to pursue musical theater.
Yeah.
And sort of all the songwriting took over, and I wasn't a theater major. I was a music major, so that was my chance to explore that passion a little bit more. So I did audition for some things, but I was waiting tables. I was living that
doing the life,
the dream. But it's a grind too. So I had a sort of a coming back to faith. I always kept my faith, but like coming back to faith in New York City, I think I loved the exciting energy of New York and the arts. And when I look back, that was so special. It's a little harder to attend all of the exciting New York City things when you're fresh out of college with a few bucks. Yeah. So I really needed the peace of the Lord. I needed, I didn't have the ocean, the horizon, the sunsets from growing up. I missed still waters and green pastures, and that I was kind of on my own time reading Psalm 23. Yeah. And I went to an audition for Oklahoma, and when I got there, which was a big deal because I was always working and it was like the scheduling. So finally to say no, I can't come in, and I got my shoes and my bags and my resume finally and everything. I'm going to go to this audition. That's why I moved to New York. I went to go, and they said, "Oh, that's canceled. They're just going to use the London cast."
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, "Well, I'm here, and it's this is the day. I'm all pumped up. What can I audition for? I'll audition for anything that's happening."
Yeah.
And on the calendar, I think there was like a flamingo troupe or something that wasn't going to be for me, and a church, Harvest Christian Fellowship. So I saw that on a Thursday night at 6:30, and I just felt the Lord, "You're coming, to that tonight. That's what we're going to tonight is church." Yeah.
Okay, so canceled Oklahoma audition.
Canceled Oklahoma audition, and
leads to church renewal.
Church renewal.
Yeah.
It was so special. I walked in, and I saw the dove on the wall. So it was a Calvary Chapel.
Yeah.
A little tiny church plant of 300 people, I think, about 300, in the middle of New York City, across from Carnegie Hall, in a dance studio. They set up chairs, and really amazing people, just a family. And I met Rocky there. I met my husband hanging out with the 20-somethings, getting burgers. They needed, okay. So I started going there on Thursday nights because I worked Sunday brunch. And they were talking about Psalm 23. They said we're going to start a sermon series on Psalm 23 that first night that I went.
That you'd been reading and thinking about.
It was an amazing time of the Lord's nearness in my life. So I'm just there on a Thursday night because I'd been going on Thursdays, and they said, if you love kids and you play guitar, we need you Sunday mornings to work with our Sunday school ministry if you play guitar and love kids. I heard all the angels singing and the light shining. Yeah. So I went and said, I would love to do that. I love kids and I play guitar. And they said, great, there's a guy named Rocky Arnold who also is going to help out so the two of you can switch off weekends. And that's how it all started.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Super cool. Okay.
Super cool.
Now, how'd you end up back in California?
22 years later.
Yeah.
We had moved to Nashville. Once Rocky and I moved to Nashville as soon as we got married to pursue songwriting. Yeah. I realized my love for songwriting, especially after coming back to the Lord and kind of writing worship songs and going to Christian coffee houses around the greater New York area with my worship team friends. We started a band and we did my original songs out and about. And then so we moved to Nashville to sort of pursue the songwriting route and save up some money because we had considered California, but it was, not great for a newly married couple. So we went there to go to Nashville for a year, and we ended up being there 22 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And then was it Santa Fe that brought you back out here?
Well, there was a lot of life lived. I mean, I need to condense it, but it was kind of like a chock full time, right? Okay. So in Nashville, I connected with somebody that I had known for a few years from Syracuse, actually, just how the Lord and his providence works. And he became my manager, and I got a record deal, songwriting. It was actually an artist record deal, and I got to go travel around and lead worship. So Nashville was a really special time of collaborating with other songwriters and musicians and just growing in my craft and in my relationship with the Lord and my relationship with Rocky and pursuing songwriting. I got to make 2 records and travel and lead worship and have 2 beautiful sons. We had our kids in Nashville, so it was a nice time. Our families would come out and visit, and I eventually kind of didn't love needing to be gone on the weekends. I mean, as a traveling singer, worship leader in the Christian community, you're gone a lot on Sunday mornings and Sunday nights and Friday nights, and I was missing a lot of friends' events and kids' birthday parties, and I realized I'd like to be home with the kids more and kind of pouring into the community in Nashville. So I started teaching music at a Montessori school that was growing, and they continued to add to their kindergarten class that would become first graders, that become second graders, third graders. So I got to be part of that. So I grew as they grew. And that was an amazing community of teachers and friends and kids. And I went to Montessori school here in Carlsbad, down in the village. And so I'd always dreamt of being able to have my kids experience what I loved about it. So that was a nice time. And so sometime during that time, my husband's dad got pancreatic cancer, and he was a pastor in Hawaii. That's where Rocky grew up. His dad pastored out there for about 40 years. And so we went out there to visit, obviously not knowing how much time that he would have left. And long story short, we sort of ended up staying there with everybody's blessing in Nashville for the remainder of his life, which ended up being 10 months. And that was a really nice time. I was substitute teaching at the Christian school that was attached to the church, and leading worship for the kids' chapels on Fridays, and helping with the high school worship team, mentoring them and hanging out with them. I took a maternity leave of the worship leader at the church for a time, so the Lord just pieced everything together to have us be there during that time. My kids loved it. It was a really great experience.
So after Hawaii, you decided, let's try California.
After Hawaii, we thought we've already, disrupted sort of everything, and maybe it's time to move back to
where you grew up,
to California, where I grew up. Anywhere. I was kind of we were looking at anywhere Southern California. And thankfully, my husband got a job in Carlsbad. And so we landed back right where everything started for me, which I was excited about. I loved growing up here, so I was really looking forward to raising our boys here and around my family as well, hopefully close to other family members. I was always kind of keeping an eye out on the private schools in this area's job postings because I had enjoyed substitute teaching in Hawaii, or music teaching. I loved teaching, so I was looking to pursue that when we moved here. And one night I logged on, and
there
I
it
saw
was.
lower school music teacher, And so I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to brush up my resume and apply for this position because, wow, I remembered Santa Fe Christian growing up, even though I didn't attend here.
Interesting. What did you think of us growing up?
I had a couple of really nice friends that went here. I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't play sports, remember? So I didn't ever play it anyone from Santa Fe Christian, but I knew maybe a few people that went here.
Yeah.
And I just knew it was a Christian school and a small community, which is what we'd really been investing in for our kids already.
Yeah.
Was Christian, small communities, Christian school.
I just know how grateful everyone is that you're here, because what you've done with the kids is incredible. And I know this just from my own kids and watching them learn every year what instruments, various instruments. We're in the recorder phase, in fourth grade with my oldest.
Yeah.
But they learn so much. So what would you say your philosophy is, or maybe what's your goal? What do you hope a kid who starts in kindergarten and goes all the way through fifth grade, what do you hope that they're ending with after 6 years with you?
I hope that every child will end with an appreciation for music, because that can be done anytime, anywhere, any age. And inspiration for trying whatever speaks to them, whether it's, and maybe it's a number of things, but choir, band, becoming a DJ, or, just becoming a songwriter,
Sure,
maybe just having it be a therapeutic time. Maybe it would just be that music would be therapeutic for them later in life, that they don't feel like there's any rules, that they have to do it a certain way, but, that there's room for exploration and trying new things, making mistakes, picking up an instrument and figuring it out on their own. I'd like to just give them tools to play.
Yeah.
Which
they do so much of. I mean, and maybe you can share a little bit about, what are the different instruments that a student will touch over the course of their 6 years?
Yes. We are so blessed to have so many instruments. I am blessed as a teacher to have this toolbox, this, palette of instruments in our room. We have a number of xylophones, the wooden, barred instruments, glockenspiels, djembe drums, bongo drums, hand drums, shaker eggs, conga drums. Then we have keyboards, piano keyboards. We have 10 of those that you can split, so 20 children can sit and play keyboards that have headphones. We've got ukuleles. We have 2 sets of ukuleles, one set that the kindergarten through second graders play that are pre-tuned, so they can play 2 chords just by learning one hand movement, and then we work on steady beat and strumming, and I like to wrap all of the things that we're learning into the instrument. So if we're learning steady beat or eighth notes or loud and soft or short and long, and we can just apply that to these instruments right away. So it's not just a concept, but they're actually doing it. So we have the colored ukuleles that are pre-tuned, and then in third grade they get to graduate to the wooden ukuleles, which they're standard tuning. But what they've learned on those pre-tuned ukuleles really transfers nicely. And then let's see, what else do we have? We've got recorders. Those are great woodwind instruments. We've got buckets and drumsticks that I've been doing.
Which is like the thing that they all look forward to in fifth grade at the Christmas thing, doing the buckets. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. I love it. I mean, every single child has a bucket and sticks. This is where, I don't know if everybody does these types of things.
No, I can tell you that they don't. My mom will also tell you. That's just why she leaves every time raving about the music teacher. So
that's so sweet. Well, I just think I would want to play. I wouldn't want to sit there day after day in music class and not get to play an instrument because for whatever reason. So I just try to make sure everybody's doing something because that will grow their love for music. That will foster their independence and their appreciation. And then, so, but
it's pretty neat because I think for people who don't know, like if you come to one of the concerts, you're going to see the kindergartners sing and play one instrument, and then you're going to see the first graders sing and then also play a different instrument. And then you're going to see the second graders with some kind of rhythmic prop doing some song and dance something. I mean, like the variety that you walk out of there with is really impressive. It's like, oh my gosh, how are the kids learning how to do all these things? I think what's also cool is you have the kids explain what they're learning when they introduce each of the grade levels, right? So, hey, in third grade, we're learning about rhythm. And so we've picked this piece that,
Yes.
which is cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, once again, I think, well, if we're going to spend so much time preparing for a performance, if it can, wrap in with our curriculum and what we're already learning, that's even better that we can be doing two things at once.
Yeah.
Learning what we need to learn in music class that will advance us to next year, but also putting on a fun show. That creative process is fun for me.
Yeah.
I think that comes from enjoying songwriting or creating,
sure.
making a show. It's like,
Right.
what are people going to want to sit and,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk this up too much, but I
No,
try
you
to
should
think
talk
about
it
the
up.
audience.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are sitting there for watching
Yeah.
a lot of students that aren't yours, right? So that's
Right.
not like you have a child in every grade, or if you do, then God bless you. But hopefully you're watching a few grades
well,
that you don't have a child in.
How do I say this politely? I really appreciate that you take into consideration how the audience members feel about the grades that their kids are not in. Because it can, that's, I mean, like, parents don't necessarily love listening to other kids at that age, right? But the way that you do it makes it fun. Like, I remember a couple years ago, it was on May 4th. There was a concert, and so you did the Star Wars theme, the May the 4th be with you. And it was so much fun. It was awesome.
Thank you.
So,
Yes.
well, shifting gears a little bit, what about how do you incorporate faith into what you're doing with music? And what does that look like, for a kindergartner compared to a fifth grader?
Yes. So we have chapel every Wednesday morning. As an elementary school, we have a chapel every Wednesday morning, and I lead the worship for that, oftentimes with other staff members that join. And the fifth graders lead us in two songs with hand motions, and that's sort of a leadership opportunity that they have in fifth grade to be on the worship team. They also are part of chapel in their scripture reading, the opening prayer, the closing, our closing time. And so the fifth graders are heavily involved. And so I think the songs that I select for chapel that I love to try to get scripture memory verses, songs that are really fun and upbeat, like a library of songs and scriptures that the children can take away from their time in elementary school that goes with them. Because that's what I remember, songs and words, truths that are built into music. Music just has a way of getting inside of you, and you remember it even when you're just, and you might just remember it out of the blue on a walk, an encouragement from the Lord from a song you learned when you were 8. And so I take that pretty seriously because I really love having the opportunity to pray and think about, well, what are we going to be learning? What are we going to sing about? What attributes of the Lord are we going to sing about, and how can we fill in? There's so many attributes of the Lord and His love and peace and joy. And I like to remind myself of the gift it is to be here and be able to start a music class with worship, to be able to build my life on the ukulele with the fourth graders, and worship songs. A lot of worship songs have 4 chords and they're more simple, and the kids already know them. So similar to how much I love teaching Christmas songs, because everyone already knows Jingle Bells. Yes. So you just get to start right out with accompanying yourself with that song. I think a lot of these children, those songs they're learning those on Sunday mornings. And so I can build on that and get to do that repertoire during the school day in class. I love that. And also, music is a spiritual thing. And I feel like you're connecting in music with something you can't see, something that came from nothing. Beethoven wrote the Symphony No. 5. Like that came out of nowhere, sort of kind of how the Lord created us and this beautiful world. And we're creators as well. So I want to encourage the children to create whatever they end up doing, however the Lord has built that into them. I want to fan that flame and foster it, and to do that from a perspective of, from a Christian perspective, is very special and sort of holy too. That we get to be part of creating in this life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
On the recorder. No,
gosh, I'm just sitting here listening to you. Yeah, yeah. Or other instruments.
And it can just go. Yeah.
I will say I did prefer the ukulele practice at home to the recorder practice.
Yes.
Just personal
Personally,
preference.
But I don't blame you.
I'm sitting here listening to you. There's so much tie-in to other things we do here. This idea that as believers we're called to be creators. And, Rod Gilbert, our head of schools, will talk a lot about entrepreneurship, and in the same way of, it's part of our call to create things and build things that are life-giving and God-pleasing. And so, music is a very different thing, and at the same time not,
Yes.
It was just kind of neat to hear you make that tie.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking also about worship. Worship is built into us. And so, you can worship with just your voice. I like to tell the children, God gave us an instrument.
Yeah.
He gave us some drum pads on our fingers too. He gave us a lot of neat things, but our voice is a woodwind instrument right here, ready to go anytime.
Yeah.
But for the children that can also learn a ukulele or guitar, or piano, to be able to worship the Lord, or clarinet, saxophone, to be able to worship the Lord through music, not using words too, is really special, or using words, or both.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have firsthand experience of that, because we also get to worship with you sometimes on our staff in service days where you get up and lead worship. So thank you for doing that.
You're
it's
welcome.
beautiful. It's fun seeing you and whoever it is, Deidre Green, or sometimes
Sona.
Vlad Begatov, or Sona Robinson, or Mark Andriani. It's pretty neat. You guys all kind of rotating around.
Yes,
doing that.
We have a lot of really talented, lovely people here.
We do.
And it's nice to hear you all sing. I feel like that's a real gift to get to hear everybody worshiping on those staff in service days.
Well, I sit in the back intentionally so you can't hear me, which is probably a good thing.
I can hear you. I hear everything. I'm just kidding.
This is just maybe going to sound like a random question, but kindergarten, day one of music with Mrs. Arnold. What am I doing?
Okay, great. My favorite. I love kindergartners. I really do. They have awe and wonder oozing out of them. They get excited about, a bug that's crawling outside, and then we got to. So they bring a lot of the life and the spirit. So I like to teach little entrance songs. I love the younger ages because I really try to just do music from the time that they're stepping foot into the classroom. We walk in singing, "Feeling fine, it's music time, stay in a line." And,
kindergarten is so different from high school.
Stay in a line. We can do it. Staff
so
worship
good.
is so different than high school. I know. And then when I dismiss them, it's like, if you have a red shirt on, it's not like the bell rings. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So kindergarten, we come in a circle. That's a big deal to make a circle. They look around. Their eyes are full of awe and wonder. And then, the songs continue from there. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so, wiggle my fingers to say hello. And they learn these songs. We're still singing them. They sing them every week and they get excited. And they don't realize that we're keeping a steady beat while we're doing it.
Right.
Or sometimes we'll do "Feeling fine, it's music time." And you're learning a whole note. You're learning to keep 4 beats there.
Right.
Yeah. While you're still you're walking
tricky
your
learning.
quarter notes here.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we sit down. We have all kinds of songs that we sing that have intentional meters, intentional tonalities. That every song is intentional.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs, the children can give ideas. If we're singing about a grocery store, then what are we going to buy? If we're singing about animals, what animal are we going to wake up? The grizzly bear song. And that also helps them learn loud and soft because you're quiet, but then you wake up the grizzly bear and you're loud. And I eventually transfer soft and loud in kindergarten to piano and forte in first grade. And so kindergarten just sets the tone for everything. And believe it or not, a lot of children, the difference between loud and soft can be confused with fast and slow,
Yeah, sure.
high and low.
Yeah.
If you really start thinking
Yeah.
about music, learning the differences between these things and being able to produce those on a drum
Right.
or singing, that's really important. And
Yeah.
there's really fun ways to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting to me too. Pedagogically, you're teaching them to do things, and then basically you spend time later naming those things and pointing out what they've learned,
Yes.
without them realizing they've learned it.
That's
which
the
is
best
brilliant.
way.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in addition to obviously the skills, did they learn about specific composers, musicians? Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things, again, to weave in to the curriculum, just kind of make it a natural progression or a natural unfolding, I guess I should say. So we're studying Beethoven this year, and in the past we studied Vivaldi, and Gustav Holst is who we were studying when we did the May the 4th
Okay, yes,
Space
that's right.
Day,
Yeah.
because he wrote the planets.
Yeah.
We've done the Carnival of the Animals with Camille Saint-Saëns. And so there's just so many great composers. Peter and the Wolf, if anybody remembers Prokofiev's Peter and the Wolf. I love to be able to take whatever the grade level is learning at that time and highlight it with a composer. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
great. So they learned some of the famous names and composers, and that's a seed planted there. And
Yes.
then really, if I think about where they go after you, in 5th grade, they can actually join the 5th grade band with Mr.
Yes.
Andrew Young. And then in 6th grade, they can start in the choir with Mr. Vlad Bogatov.
Yes.
So what is that handoff like for you to see them? I mean, I imagine you have them for 6 years, and then you see the choices they make about, who joins the band, what's that like?
Yes, really special. It really moves me. It's moving. I think when we do the recorder in 4th grade, I'm hoping that sparks a lot of children's interest in trying band. I really like the word trying,
Yeah.
right? Why can't we just,
Yeah.
just
try
try
it.
it?
Yeah.
Yes. Different instruments speak to different children. And maybe many instruments speak to an individual, but I think it's important for children to try a recorder, a drum, a ukulele, a keyboard, singing, and sort of see what lights their fire.
Yeah.
Because I have seen some children who really loved the recorder, and they've gone on to be playing saxophone in the band,
that's cool.
clarinet.
Wow.
It speaks to them, Then I've had children who really loved the ukulele, and they'll come through. I'll see a lot of the middle schoolers coming by the classroom. Mrs. Arnold, I'm taking guitar lessons, and I really love it. And they'll share with me just privately what they're working on as well. The choir, I loved choir, and I love singing. That's my first love. So when I start hearing those children's voices mature and them going for it and being courageous and singing full voice, or maybe they have a solo in the choir concert. I mean, that really moves me. The High School Musical moves me so much to see these children working together, making harmonies, because some of those things are really difficult to teach when the children haven't developed to the place where we can do 2-part harmonies and we can do 2-part songs, but you can't do 4-part harmonies with a 3rd graders. It's just too much. Maybe you could, but with a general music course.
Yeah.
Yes. So the progression just keeps going.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop in kindergarten. And I suppose a lot of music teachers, they can keep tabs on their students in the middle school and high school where they go. But I literally get to witness it. And it's the same it's the same teenagers coming in to fill their water bottles that are up there on these stages doing amazing things. And, I look forward to being here long enough to know all of them.
Yeah.
But I know some of them right now, and that alone is really wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I can't say thank you enough for what you do for our kids. I mean, mine included. Their love for music, watching them learn and come home and sing and request the worship songs in the car
Yes.
and want to do more and be so excited about the performances. I know I'm one of many who would say we are very blessed to have you here at Santa Fe.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Well,
and
the love and encouragement that abounds here just makes every day, how do I want to say this? That kind of encouragement means so much, because that's why I'm here, is to be with your children and grow them. So to hear from you that what's happening in your home is really, really special.
Yeah, we feel super blessed. And thank you for coming on the podcast and talking about it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the time.
It's our pleasure. And thank you for watching and listening. If this is your first episode that you've caught of our Eagle Perspective podcast, we have many other episodes. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, elsewhere podcasts are available. You can watch our video podcasts on YouTube. We look forward to seeing you again soon.